Exclusive contract from Feilu Novel Network Novel. Siheyuan. He Yuzhu, starting as a 10,000 yuan household traveling through the world of quadrangle houses, he has become a silly pillar in everyone's mouths. Take my mercy as your shameless capital. He Yuzhu intends to change all of this. In the future, please call me He Yuzhu. Whoever calls me Silly Zhu, I will cut him. What I said. Just activated the cognitive system. Detected that the host is staring at the beam, activating the perception system. Congratulations to the host, achieving national level second level architect. Detected the host staring at the leftover pickled vegetables on the table, activated the cognitive system. Congratulations to the host, achieving the national advanced chef certification. He Yuzhu was full of skills and gradually became the first batch of households in 49 cities worth 10,000 yuan. Let all the calculations in the courtyard be in vain. Huairu's voluntary sacrifice was rejected, Jia Zhang was furious, and Deputy Factory Director Li was exposed. Feilu Novel Network reminds you that this novel and its characters are purely fictional. If there are any similarities, they are purely coincidental and should not be imitated. Chapter 1. Activation System. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Detected that the host is staring at the beam, activating the perception system. Congratulations to the host, achieving national level second level architect. He Yuzhu was momentarily stunned. Some can't feel their heads. I worked overtime and slept for a while, but how could I wake up and hear someone whispering in my ear in a cold voice? What cognitive system? National second level architect. But is he a programmer? It has nothing to do with building, right? Detected the host staring at the leftover pickled vegetables on the table, activated the cognitive system. Congratulations to the host, achieving the national advanced chef certification. 5 more minutes have passed. He Yuzhu suddenly realized that he was actually in the courtyard full of love. He became He Yuzhu, the protagonist of the same name. Being called a silly pillar. It is precisely because of this name, which shares the same name and surname as the protagonist, that he feels a strong sense of empathy. At first, he looked very happy, but when he looked at it, he felt a lot of pain. The few shots in the middle made him feel so angry that he wanted to vomit blood. I finally finished reading it. For him, this play started as a comedy, but ended up being a tragedy. This is a portrayal of the tragic life of the protagonist, Silly Pillar. As a chef in a factory, he had a bright future, but now he has been ruined by Huairu. Huairu, she repeatedly sabotaged his blind dates for her own selfish interests. Otherwise, wouldn't he have married a beautiful girl like a yellow flower long ago and lived happily together? How could one still be single in their 40s? Since I have become a foolish pillar, I will not marry widows again. Under the burden of their mother and son, I will marry a pure and innocent girl and live a good life. He Yuzhu secretly swore in his heart. He has no feelings for Huairu and her children. He only felt that they were a heavy burden on him. He wants to get rid of them. He wants to pursue the life he truly wants. He wants to find the person he truly loves. He wants happiness. He Yuzhu secretly swore in his heart. At that moment, a young man hummed a tune and swaggered into the kitchen. That person has long hair, a narrow and long face, and 2 mustaches on his chin. Damao, the male lead in this drama, is a minor villain. Wow, it smells so good. I'm almost starving. Damao muttered to himself. Hey, silly pillar, have you finished? Everyone is waiting for dinner. He shouted at He Yuzhu. He and He Yuzhu are mortal enemies, never dealing with each other, and they are also at odds with each other. There is a hint of unkindness in the tone. Every time it's just silly shouting, completely ignoring him. He Yuzhu glared at Damao and said, "How do you call me?" "Hey, what else can I call you?" "Stupid Jew. Did you have a crazy mind today and ask such a foolish question?" Su Damao looked at him coldly. Try it again. He Yuzhu roared, I have a name, He Yuzhu. Su Damao disapproved and said, isn't that what people call you? What's wrong? He Yuzhu said sternly, anyone can do it except for you. How could Su Damao compare He Yuzhu's fusion of memories from young people in the 21st century? Oh, what's wrong with you? What's the big gunpowder smell? If I can't call you silly pillar, what should I call you? Su Damao asked. Call me grandpa, I'm your pillar grandpa. He Yuzhu called out. Damn it. Su Damao cursed loudly, stupid. Stupid pillar. He Yuzhu pointed out and shouted, try shouting again. Su Damao gritted his teeth and said, Silly Zhu, Silly Zhu, Silly Zhu. Not once, 3 times. What can you do to me? At this moment, the other people present were attracted by their noisy voices. They were all surprised to see the confrontation between He Yuzhu and Su Damao. They all know that He Yuzhu and Su Damao have never been at odds, but they have never seen them arguing so fiercely. They all feel that He Yuzhu is a bit unusual today. He rarely gets angry with people, let alone argue with Su Damao. Why did he suddenly become so temperamental today? Is it that he finally can't bear it anymore? Ma Hua quickly walked over, trying to persuade. He has a strong aversion towards Su Damao, thinking that he is a lazy and incompetent bad person. He doesn't want to see the two of them fight, after all, this is the cafeteria, not the arena. He wants both of them to calm down and peacefully resolve the issue. However, neither He Yuzhu nor Su Damao listened. I'm going to break your leg. Come on. Come on. A great war broke out here. He Yuzhu roared angrily, get out. He picked up a rolling pin from the table and smashed it fiercely at Su Damao. Su Damao didn't have time to dodge and was hit straight by this stick. With a ouch sound, he stumbled back a few steps and almost fell. Silly pillar, I'm fighting with you. Su Damao's eyes were about to burst out. As soon as he moved, he was about to charge towards He Yuzhu. Come on, come on. He Yuzhu roared angrily, do you believe that I broke your leg? Also, don't call me silly pillar again in the future, let me hit you again. Su Damao was stunned there. He is very clear about his weight. Although he looks tall and imposing, when it comes to fighting ability, he is really not a match. I'm telling you, I won't argue with you today, Su Damao said loudly. Do you know why I'm here? I was invited by Deputy Factory Director Li. As he spoke, he showed a hint of pride. He Yuzhu sneered, you look up to yourself too much, right? Deputy Director Li asked you to watch a small movie. You're just a tool, you really take yourself seriously. Su Damao sneered and said, of course, I am a projectionist. Isn't it more noble than being a chef like you? However, the dishes you made with this silly pillar are really delicious. After speaking, he grabbed a handful of peanuts, stuffed them into his mouth, and turned around to run. Chapter 2. Su Damao. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Hey, son thief, wait for me. He Yuzhu shouted. Oh my, it hurts me so much. Outside the door, Su Damao let out a scream, probably because he was running too fast and accidentally fell. Master, calm down. Ma Hua was busy and comforted by saying something. Master why bother arguing with someone like Su Damao, said Lu Lan, who served the dishes. She looked at He Yuzhu's breathing and felt some sympathy in her heart. She knew that Su Damao was an ignorant thug who often bullied He Yuzhu. Bastard. Don't let me catch him next time, otherwise I won't spare him lightly. He Yuzhu continued angrily. My heart was filled with anger. He felt that Su Damao was a scoundrel and unworthy of working with him. He also wanted to teach Su Damao a lesson. Soon, he stopped thinking too much and focused on cooking. He is a cook, and now he has become He Yuzhu, naturally he needs to do a good job as a cook. In no time, He Yuzhu cooked all the remaining dishes. After finishing everything, he tidied up and returned home with an aluminum lunch box. His home is near a courtyard house. The whole story basically unfolds in this large courtyard. While admiring the scenery of the 1960s, I leisurely walked into the courtyard and accidentally saw a woman washing clothes. The woman had a plump figure, wrapped in a thick cotton coat, appearing somewhat bloated. Her hair was loosely tied behind her head, and her face was covered with drops of water and foam. Holding a piece of soap in hand, rubbing a piece of clothing in the basin. Her movements were very forceful, as if she wanted to wash away all the stains. It is Huairu. The female protagonist in Love in a Courtyard is a widow in a courtyard house. In He Yuzhu's view, she is the most selfish person. She only cares about her own children and mother.in.law. Silly Zhu has completely become her tool, firmly tied together by her, and life is not happy. Huairu, I'm not a fool, I won't blame you again. He Yuzhu looked at Huairu's back and secretly swore in his heart. He remembered that she had seduced him before, causing him to go astray and almost fall. He remembered that she had once used him to make him do things for her without complaint or regret. He felt that the silly pillar he used to be was too foolish and naive, to be played with by her in the palm of his hand. He decided to draw a clear line with her from now on and no longer have any involvement with her. Silly pillar. Huairu immediately greeted He Yuzhu with a smile as soon as she saw him. Her smile is like a blooming flower, making people cannot help but feel tempted. The sound is like a refreshing breeze, making one's ears involuntarily fragrant. It has to be admitted that even a mother who has given birth to 3 children has an extremely beautiful face. A slightly immature face, phoenix eyes, red lips, still so charming and charming. But from the moment He Yuzhu saw her, he had already made up his mind that he would never marry her in his lifetime. He is still a virgin. To marry a daughter.in.law, one must find a yellow flower girl, so as to be worthy of oneself. He Yuzhu responded calmly. He has no impression of Huairu's beauty and charm, only perceiving her as a troublemaker. He remembered all the harm and seduction she had done to him before, and his heart was filled with disgust and vigilance. He decided to avoid her as much as possible and not give her any chance. He Yuzhu looked at Huairu and felt unhappy. This widow almost caused Silly Zhu to have no children or grandchildren, which made him hate her to the bone. Silly pillar, there are so many dishes today. Huairu said with a smile, but her gaze fell on the mesh lunch box in He Yuzhu's hand. She smelled the aroma emanating from the lunch box and her heart moved. She wants to know what's inside the lunch box. Is there any meat? She hasn't eaten meat for a long time, and she really wants to eat meat. Why doesn't He Yuzhu understand her intentions? Every time Silly Zhu comes home from work, he always brings back some food for his family. Huairu had already become accustomed to this. Unfortunately, she couldn't feed her few cubs enough. No matter how kind Silly Pillar is to them, this kid doesn't know how to be grateful. He takes Silly Pillar one by one and doesn't pay any attention to him, often sneaking into his room to steal things. Just silly pillars have a broad mind, and when they see their orphaned and widowed mothers pitiful, they don't care anymore. He Yuzhu shook his head and said, "There's nothing to eat," confidently. "Oh," Huairu said with a smile. "Did you bring us anything good today?" she asked straightforwardly, her gaze fixed on the lunchbox. She wants to get a share of the soup from the lunchbox, and she wants to take some advantage of the silly pillar. She took it for granted. After all, she is his dream lover. This is what is called habit. "Sorry, Huairu, this is something I specially prepared for my little sister. She will come for dinner later, so I have to keep it for her," he said firmly. He doesn't want Huairu to taint his and his little sister's things, he doesn't want Huairu to tarnish his and her relationship. He just wants to have a good meal with his little sister and enjoy the warm atmosphere. Get along well with your younger sister and cultivate a close relationship. As for Qin Huairu, forget it. Leaving this sentence behind, he hurriedly left. Qin Huairu looked at his back and felt a wave of confusion in her heart. She murmured, "Sigh, what's wrong with this silly pillar today? It's strange, why it's different from usual." She remembered his expression and tone earlier, feeling a bit off. He seems to have something on his mind. Did he encounter something good? There's a good thing, can't we leave them behind? The more she thinks, the more curious she becomes, but it's not easy to ask. Chapter 3. Chicken Stealing Incidents. You are listening at novelfull.audio. He Yuzhu returned to his room, took out the chicken legs he had bought from the cafeteria, and began to stew them. He was secretly excited in his heart, it was his first time eating chicken in the 1960s. He has loved eating meat since he was young, but in this era of scarce resources, meat is a luxury item. And chicken is even more rare to see. He saw someone selling chicken legs outside the cafeteria today, so he couldn't help but spend 2 food stamps to buy them. He thinks it's worth it, after all, it's the delicious food he and his sister have been dreaming of. The pot was steaming hot. The aroma of chicken wafted out of the window and into the yard. Damao happened to pass by and smelled the fragrance, so he found this place. He sniffed and followed the fragrance. He felt like a hungry wolf, smelling the scent of prey. He wants to know where the fragrance comes from and who is making what delicious food. Through the window, he saw He Yuzhu stewing meat and was surprised, with a look of contemplation on his face. After returning home, Damao rushed into the door. "Moth, why is a chicken missing?" After returning home, Damao found that a movie was playing in the village, and the old hen given to him by the commune was missing. This matter is not insignificant, it was a chicken rewarded by the commune. And that old hen can still lay eggs. Every day can add some income to their family. He quickly asked his wife Lu Xiaoa about it. "I'm not sure either," Lu Xiaoa said as she walked out of the room. "I had a slight headache today, so I slept inside all day and didn't understand anything." She touched her forehead and felt a little feverish. She thought she might have caught a cold, so she didn't mind the outside world. She also doesn't know how that old hen disappeared. "The chicken is gone," Damao replied. His tone was filled with anxiety and anger. He felt that his old hen must have been stolen, otherwise how could it suddenly disappear? He wants to find the thief, ask him to return his chicken, and teach him a lesson. Lu Xiaoa glanced at the chicken coop and said, "I think I got lost. If I look around, I can always find it." She comforted her. She felt that the old hen might have run out of the cage or been scared away by something. She doesn't believe anyone would steal their chicken, after all, this place is all neighbors. Who would do such a heinous thing? Damao couldn't help but say, "Why are you still staring? Hurry up and find it," he urged. He felt that Lu Xiaoa was too useless to even look at a chicken. He decided to find it himself, he wanted to retrieve the chicken, otherwise he would suffer heavy losses. "I walked around the yard. But after searching for a while, I couldn't find the chicken." Damao suddenly thought of the dish He Yuzhu was cooking, and his anger burned. "Damn it, it must be that silly pillar who did something good. He coveted my old hen and wanted to stew it. Damn it, I won't let him go," he murmured. He remembered the chicken leg he had just seen and felt that it was very similar to his own old hen. He thought it couldn't be a coincidence, it must have been He Yuzhu stealing his chicken and then killing it to cook. He wished he could rush in immediately and beat He Yuzhu half to death. He immediately charged angrily towards He Yuzhu. When Damao walked in angrily, He Yuzhu was making a pot of stewed meat. The air was filled with a scent of meat, making people unable to resist the urge to sizzle. Damao walked over panting heavily, not saying a word, just staring straight at the steaming chicken in the pot. His eyes were filled with greed and jealousy, as if he had seen a pie falling from the sky. His mouth involuntarily dripped with saliva, and his stomach made a gurgling sound, his fingers kept grabbing his clothes, and his footsteps involuntarily moved forward. Fragrant, right? He Yuzhu chuckled. It's the first time I've seen such delicious chicken. But I'm sorry, you might never have the chance to eat such delicious chicken in your life. Because I won't give you anything to eat. He deliberately stimulated Su Damao with an exaggerated tone, wanting to see how he would react. Silly pillar, where did you get that chicken? Su Damao looked up and asked seriously. He seemed to have not heard He Yuzhu's provocation, only concerned about the origin of the chicken. He felt that the chicken must have been stolen from somewhere, because in this era of scarce resources, who can afford to buy a chicken? He Yuzhu snorted coldly and said, "What do you care about his background? It's none of your business." He disdained Su Damao's question and thought he was just a meddler. Su Damao excitedly said, "What's it to me? Isn't that the old hen I brought back from the countryside? Silly pillar, how dare you steal a chicken? I'll tell you what's going on, there's really something fishy." He suddenly remembered the old hen he kept at home. "I originally planned to keep the food for the Chinese New Year. But I found that the cage was empty and the old hen was missing." He thought he was taken away by a wild dog, but unexpectedly fell into He Yuzhu's pot. "Su Damao, what a mess you're talking about. Believe it or not, I tore your mouth open." He shouted loudly, grabbing Su Damao's collar and dragging him aside. He shook his hand hard and threw Su Damao to the ground. He jumped up and punched Su Damao hard in the face with his fist. He didn't steal a chicken, so he is confident and fearless. Chapter 4 teaches you to be a good person. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. In the original work, Silly Zhu used kanji as a scapegoat. He hasn't done such a foolish thing yet, He Yuzhu. He didn't do this, he doesn't have any sense of guilt. He just wants to eat chicken. What's your reason for stealing my chicken? Su Damao said confidently, "This chicken is obviously from our old hen. We have one less chicken in our cage, so you must have stolen it and stewed it. Give back our chicken to me." "When did I steal it?" "You have no evidence, it's just slander, I can sue you." He Yuzhu shouted loudly. He spoke in a righteous and passionate tone, without any fear or retreat. He felt that he was an innocent person, someone who had been falsely accused. He wants to maintain his reputation and fight against their slander. Evil people report first. Su Damao angrily said, "Hey, you silly pillar, why didn't I see that you were a thief and even stole someone else's chicken? How unreasonable." He looked at He Yuzhu with a contemptuous and mocking gaze, without any sympathy or forgiveness. He angrily pointed at He Yuzhu and cursed loudly, clearly angered. "Su Damao, stand for me," He Yuzhu said angrily. "Pinch your fist tightly." Su Damao was startled and quickly stepped back. "You stole my chicken and still want to hit me. Don't think I'm not your opponent, I must kill you today. Hey, son thief, don't run," He Yuzhu angrily said. He spoke in a threatening and provocative tone, without any fear or regret. He roared angrily and rushed toward Su Damao, punching him in the face. "Oh!" Su Damao let out a painful cry. A loud bang. He collapsed on his back. "You bastard, you're speechless. Look at me if I don't kick you to death." He Yuzhu kicked over one foot after another. "Ah! Ah!" Su Damao covered his face and shouted hysterically, "Killed, stupid pillar, killed, come here quickly." He spoke in a tone of screams and tears, without any dignity or pride. He felt that he was a sad and ridiculous person, knocked down and humiliated by others. He looked at He Yuzhu with a look of fear and hatred, without any kindness or forgiveness. His loud shout immediately attracted many people. Lu Xiaoa ran in first. "What's going on? What's going on? Xiao Yi, it's him, it's Silly Zhu. He stole my old hen." Su Damao lay on the ground, still shouting loudly before getting up. Not to mention stealing chickens, but also resorting to beating people, it's really unreasonable. Ah, it hurts, it hurts. Silly pillar, why did you hit Damao? Lu Xiaoyi said angrily. He Yuzhu said with righteous words, he slandered me and tarnished my reputation. How could he not strike him? The woman in front of him, named Lu Xiaoyi too, left a deep impression on him. The other party and Silly Zhu once had an unforgettable relationship, but unfortunately, fate broke them apart and they went their separate ways. Later, Lu Xiaoyi gave birth to a son for him. Lu Xiaoyi is a person who values emotions and is also very likable. If he hadn't married Su Damao, He Yuzhu might have gone to find Lu Xiaoyi. I didn't wrongly accuse him, Su Damao said. He stole our chicken and wanted to stew it. Lu Xiaoyi glanced at the heat rising from the pot and then glared at He Yuzhu, saying, we've caught both the stolen and the stolen. Now it's our Damao who falsely accuses you. You're such an unreasonable guy. We were planning to keep this old hen here to lay eggs. He Yuzhu said, are you stealing a chicken that won't erode the rice? Lu Xiaoyi, I want to see who you're talking about. Can you be so certain that you saw me steal your chicken with your own eyes? This is the chicken you lost. How could there be such a foolish person in the world who stole a neighbor's chicken and stewed it here, afraid others wouldn't know? Do you think I'm stupid? You're the foolish pillar. Lu Xiaoyi was speechless. What's going on? At this moment, a few gentlemen walked in. A few gentlemen, you. You have to make up your own mind for me. Silly Zhu stole my old hen from my house, which was given to me by the commune when I came back from playing a movie in the countryside. He stole my chicken, and I went to argue with him, but he didn't admit it or say it, and even started to fight me. He was so ruthless that he almost knocked out my teeth. How could you be so arrogant? Isn't it just relying on your own ability to fight and bully others? Su Damao cried as if he had been wronged. He spoke in a tone of crying and accusation, without any courage or counterattack. He felt like a pitiful and innocent person, robbed and injured by others. He looked at He Yuzhu with a look of hatred and resentment, without any tolerance or forgiveness. The gentlemen looked at the chicken in the pot and were all stunned. They spoke in a tone of surprise and doubt, without any affirmation or negation. They think this matter is strange and suspicious, and it needs to be carefully examined and distinguished. Silly pillar, did you steal this chicken from the Damao family? Said the old man with a serious expression on his face. He spoke in an interrogative and reproachful tone, without any joking or politeness. He felt that He Yuzhu was a person who did something wrong and should be punished. He wants to pursue his crimes and make him confess. The third master helped his glasses and said with a smile, oh, this chicken stew is really delicious, making people drool. He spoke in a teasing tone, without any seriousness or anger. He thinks He Yuzhu is an interesting person, he wants to tease his nerves and see his reaction. This makes him very unhappy. He Yuzhu is no longer that foolish pillar. He is a living person. He has his own ideas and opinions, and he will not be bullied or manipulated by others. He is a person with backbone and momentum. Does everyone in this yard use him as a vampire bag? Think beautifully one by one. Starting from the Qinhuai family, we will educate them on how to be good people. No, it's teaching them how to be a person. Chapter 5. Kick away. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After a moment. Several gentlemen have already taken their seats. Everyone gathered around. Among these people, there is naturally a widow named Huairu. The reason for calling everyone here this time is for this matter. Since everyone is here, let's start now. The old man sitting in the main seat spoke up. He spoke in a serious and authoritative tone without any hesitation or politeness. He feels that this matter is very important and urgent, and needs to be resolved and dealt with as soon as possible. He is a responsible person. Brothers and sisters in the yard, uncles and aunts, please give me Su Damao a fair deal. He, that stupid pillar, stole our old hen and is now stewing in their big pot. It tastes delicious. You can smell it. The evidence is conclusive. Su Damao gritted his teeth and said, this kid even started hitting people. Look, his face is swollen like a pig's head. He spoke in an angry and aggrieved tone, without any apologies or confessions. He feels like a victim and a wronger, being bullied and framed. Beat it a bit hard, this silly pillar, how ruthless it is. Stupid pillars can easily hit people, and this temperament needs to be changed. The chicken he stewed is really delicious, I can even smell the aroma. Is that worth mentioning? Even now, I still refuse to admit my mistake. The crowd was chattering and discussing. They spoke in a contemptuous and mocking tone towards He Yuzhu, without any trust or respect. They think He Yuzhu is a lying person, a person made out of nothing. They looked at He Yuzhu with a disgusted and repulsive gaze, without any understanding or tolerance. In their view, this is true. This kind of behavior is really too rebellious and despicable. Shut up, Su Damao. If you keep talking nonsense, believe it or not, I'll break your leg. He Yuzhu angrily said. Everyone, listen, this guy actually wants to break my leg. How arrogant. Su Damao gestured there. He spoke in a tone of fear and helplessness, lacking any courage or resistance. He felt helpless and pitiful, threatened and intimidated by others. Silly pillar, don't bully others too much. Everyone is here. Second grandpa roared angrily. So what? He Yuzhu asked. I didn't steal his chicken, I have a clear conscience. He spoke in a provocative and defiant tone, without any concession or bow. He knows he is innocent and is not afraid of criticism and questioning from others. He looked at them with a contemptuous and challenging gaze, without any fear or submission. You didn't steal the chicken from Su Damao's family, so how did you get this chicken? Third uncle asked with a smile. He spoke in a playful and provocative tone, without any sympathy or respect. He thinks He Yuzhu is a liar and a deceiver. He wants to expose his lies and embarrass him. He Yuzhu said, what's your concern? He spoke in a cold and disdainful tone, without any explanation or defense. He knows he hasn't done anything wrong and doesn't want others to know his secrets. He felt that they were a group of bored people who were meddling in their own affairs. He wants to refuse their inquiries and maintain his silence. Of course, these chickens were all bought from the factory kitchen. He is a chef, so it is also appropriate to bring some food back. Otherwise, he wouldn't feed Qin Huairu 3 children every day. No one will say anything about this matter. But now, he cannot be honest, otherwise, if this matter were to spread, it would probably bring him great trouble. Force words to reason, force words to reason. Su Damao shouted. Silly Zhu didn't tell the truth and still wants to clear his grievances. How could he not be truthful? This chicken is clearly not right. What's the explanation for this nonsense? Silly Zhu is playing with us. There was another round of discussion among the crowd. For a moment, He Yuzhu became the target of criticism and everyone shouted and attacked. Silly pillar, where did this chicken come from? You should recruit quickly, Qin Huairu said. No one believes me, can't you still believe me? He Yuzhu gave her a cold look. He spoke in a tone of disappointment and sadness, without any joy or warmth. He used to have deep feelings and expectations for her, but now he is being questioned and betrayed by her. He thinks she is a woman who doesn't know how to cherish and be grateful, a woman without charm and temperament. I bring food to your house every day, how do you repay me? They don't believe it, don't you believe it? Didn't I bring you a chicken before? Qin Huairu said, then, let's see the evidence. He Yuzhu said, if you want evidence, you can go ask your cubs. He spoke in a tone of mockery and provocation, without any respect or sincerity. He knows her cubs are roasting chicken. Everyone on TV knows that the old hen of Su Damao's family was stolen by Bangji. He stole chickens to make crowing chickens, and even wanted to steal soy sauce in the kitchen, but was kicked away by He Yuzhu. If Qin Huairu really asks her cubs about this matter, she might be surprised. "Hey, silly pillar, how did you talk? Does this have anything to do with our family's meme?" Qin Huairu's face suddenly changed. When she heard He Yuzhu's words, her heart tightened. It's shameless to falsely accuse someone else's child. Qin Huairu's mother.in.law, Zhang, said angrily, with a look of indignation on her face. Chapter 6. General Assembly of the Whole Court. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. She was furious when she heard He Yuzhu's words. She felt that he was a person who didn't know what to do and was an unreasonable troublemaker. She spoke to him in a tone of criticism and disdain, without any sympathy or understanding. The thunderous sound reignited. Everyone is fighting against He Yuzhu. What's going on? Bullying people too much. Everyone is discussing He Yuzhu. They think he is a nonsense person. They spoke to him in a questioning and mocking tone, without any trust or respect. Just then, an old voice suddenly sounded. An old lady leaning on a cane is limping towards this side. She has a short stature, gray hair, and wrinkled skin. But her eyes were bright, her voice was loud, and her aura was extraordinary. She is the oldest and most experienced person in this courtyard. Her words carry a lot of weight, and everyone should listen to her. The old lady is here. Everyone stood up. The first, second, and third masters sitting in the main seat also stood up. They showed respect to the old lady. They know that the old lady is a person of prestige and status, and what she says is the golden rule. They can only bend their heads and waist. "Grandma, why are you here?" Antair walked up and helped the old man up. She showed concern and enthusiasm towards the old lady. She is a filial and considerate person, usually treating the elderly very well and rarely complaining. She thinks the old lady is someone who needs to be taken care of and respected, an experienced and wise person. The old lady walked straight towards an old man. "Are you all talking about pillar errors? Using more to deceive less?" She spoke in a questioning and dissatisfied tone, without any politeness or hesitation. She saw the difficulties and grievances of He Yuzhu, as well as the malice and irrationality of Su Damao and others. She thinks they are a group of people who bully the soft and fear the hard, a group of unreasonable people. She wants Yuzhu speaks and Yuzhu presides over justice. "Grandma, you misunderstood." The old man explained with a smile, "We didn't bully her. We were just discussing the matter." The third old man said, "Whoever dares to bully him, I'll scold him like a dog. It's more than just cursing, it's like hitting." "Do you see how badly he hit Su Damao?" said the second uncle. This is just a small report to the old lady. Although the old lady's hearing was not very good, she also vaguely heard some. The old lady turned her head and smiled kindly at He Yuzhu, saying, "Silly Zhu, I understand now. He is an understanding person who won't curse or hit people for no reason. There must be some reason behind this. Isn't that right, Silly Zhu?" He Yuzhu nodded and said, "Yes, old lady." He showed respect and gratitude to the old lady. The old lady is one of the few good people in this courtyard. Despite her age, she is still very reasonable. She will not favor or discriminate against others based on their identity and status, she will only judge and handle based on facts and reasoning. She is very cute and worthy of respect. "Grandma, silly pillar stole our chicken. We are discussing this matter and hope you can make the decision for me." Su Damao exclaimed loudly. He has no respect or courtesy towards the old lady, only arrogance and aura. He feels that he is a powerful person who can freely accuse and bully others. He doesn't care about the old lady's feelings and opinions, he only cares about his own interests and face. Upon hearing this, the old lady quickly turned to He Yuzhu and said, Zhu, did Su Damao say you stole someone else's chicken? She spoke in a tone of inquiry and concern, without any accusations or doubts. She believed that He Yuzhu wouldn't do such a thing, but she also wanted to hear what he said. No, he framed me. He Yuzhu shook his head and said. He spoke in a firm and decisive tone, without any hesitation. He knew he was innocent, but he also wanted to make the old lady understand that he was wronged. An old man said, it's like this. There's an old hen missing from Su Damao's house, and Zhu's house is stewing chickens. Zhu doesn't admit that the old hen was stolen from Su Damao's house, only claims it was sent by someone else, but refuses to say who sent it. This makes people suspicious. We can't tolerate anyone stealing in our yard. He spoke in a neutral and objective tone, without any favoritism or attack. He just shared the process and current situation of the incident to let the old lady know what had happened. Are you saying that Su Damao's chicken was stolen by a pillar? Upon hearing the sound, the old woman burst into laughter. She spoke in a relaxed and humorous tone, without any anger or worry. She felt that this matter was too absurd and ridiculous, and it was not worth taking seriously. She has full trust and understanding in He Yuzhu, and would never believe that he would do such a thing. How could it be like this? How could it be like this? She shook her head. We live in the same yard as Zhu, and we've been together for quite some time. How could we not know Zhu's character? Why did he steal things from someone else's house? It must be something wrong. She spoke in a puzzled tone, without any blame or questioning. She felt that there must be some hidden secrets and misunderstandings in this matter that needed to be clarified. Old lady, one cannot judge by appearance. Su Damao said. He spoke in an angry and disdainful tone, without any respect or reason. He felt that the old lady was a confused and biased person, only able to protect and trust any pillar of rain, and would not listen to or consider her own words. He wants to make the old lady believe his statement and support his ideas. But he refused to tell us who gave us this chicken, which makes it difficult to convince people, said the third master. He found this matter strange and complex, and needed a reasonable explanation. He wants to hear He Yuzhu's reasons and give him a chance. Chapter 7. Falling from the water and revealing the stone. You are listening at novelfull.audio. He Yuzhu said, Madam, this is my own business. I don't want to talk to anyone, that's why I won't talk. He spoke in a candid and persistent tone, without any evasion or compromise. He knows he has his own secrets and principles, and doesn't want others to know or interfere. He wants to protect his privacy and maintain his position. The old lady said, if you don't want to say it, it's your freedom. You said he stole Su Damao's chicken, which is just speculation, without conclusive evidence. The police also need evidence when handling cases. She spoke in a peaceful and fair tone, without any coercion or bias. She respected He Yuzhu's choices and wishes, and also pointed out Su Damao's mistakes and loopholes. She wants to maintain a fair and rational attitude, and to follow the principles of the rule of law and justice. After listening to the old lady's words, although they were not convinced, they were also embarrassed to say anything. They know that the old lady is a respected person, and her words are conclusive. They could only grit their teeth, suppress the anger in their hearts, and temporarily retreat. He Yuzhu's heart warmed. He is grateful for the old lady's help and also appreciates her justice and fairness. He thinks she is a respected person, a person with wisdom and courage. He gave her a slight smile as a gesture of gratitude. These people are not like an old lady in her 80s or 90s who can reason. They will only use their own power and prejudice to frame and attack others. They don't care about the truth at all, they only care about their own interests and face. They are a group of shameless people, a group of unreasonable people. As he was speaking, Bang Ji walked over with his two sisters, Xiao Dang and Huaihua. They smiled smugly, as if they had just done something so remarkable. They didn't notice the gazes and expressions of those around them, nor did they notice the crisis and tension that permeated the air. "Brother, this is so delicious," called Flower Chicken. "When can we eat it again?" whispered Xiao Dang on the side. He licked his lips, savoring the delicious food he had just tasted. He felt that this was the best food he had ever eaten in his life, even more delicious than the food his mother cooked. He wants to eat again and take a few more bites. Huaihua said, "There's one at Uncle Damao's house that was stolen by the big brother, and we can also eat one." She blinked and pointed to the distant chicken cage. She thinks Big Brother is a hero and a magical person. He can steal chickens from other people's homes and even turn them into crowing chickens. What's all this mess? Keep your voice down, don't let adults hear you. Kanji frowned and lowered her voice. He warned his younger siblings not to reveal the truth. He is afraid of being discovered for stealing chickens and afraid of being beaten up. Although he likes to steal things, he is also afraid of being caught. Although their voices were small, they were still heard by many people. It was a stick meme that stole a chicken. Huaihua and Xiaodang accidentally leaked the news just now, someone shouted. He is a good person who likes to sow discord and rarely tells the truth. But today he couldn't bear the arrogance of the stick meme. He thinks that Bang Ji is a child who committed heinous crimes and should be punished. He wants to expose his crimes and let everyone know his true face. As soon as this statement was made, the whole audience was in an uproar, and everyone turned their attention to Bang Ji. "Nonsense, I didn't steal Uncle Damao's chicken." Stick meme blushed with anxiety. He felt like someone had exposed a big secret and caught a big handle. He wanted to deny and argue, but he knew it was useless. He can only refuse to admit it, even if it would make him even more ridiculous. The person said, "Huaihua said you stole it. Do you still want to deny it? Huaihua is so big." He pointed at Huaihua and said sarcastically. He felt that Bang Ji was an extremely shameless child and wanted to humiliate him, making him feel ashamed. "Oh my, little bunny, you're the one who stole my chicken." Su Damao finally regained his senses and hurriedly ran over, grabbing the hand of Bang Ji. He was so angry that he trembled all over, and anger shot out of his eyes. He felt bullied and insulted by others. He wants to find his own chicken and his dignity. "I didn't steal it." Xiao Dang and Huaihua followed behind him, so scared that they couldn't speak. They watched as their mother and Uncle Damao competed for memes. Surrounded by people watching him, He Yuzhu coldly gazed at him. They feel like a group of criminals being tried. They regretted telling the truth and regretting doing such a thing with their elder brother. "Su Damao, what are you doing?" Qin Huairu rushed forward and said angrily, "That silly pillar stewed the chicken. How could you slander a child?" She forcefully widened the distance between Su Damao and Bongan, protecting her own child. She is a brave and strong mother who is usually friendly to others and rarely quarrels. But today she cannot tolerate the false accusations and attacks on the children by others. She wants to uphold the innocence of the children and make others believe that they are innocent. The person who just reported said, "The chicken from the Dazhu family is not from the Damao family." Qin Huairu angrily shouted, "You're talking nonsense." The person said, "I didn't say it, it was Huaihua who said it herself." "Do you think she's lying?" "Huaihua." Qin Huairu scolded, "Did your brother steal Su Damao's chicken?" "Mom." Huaihua was so scared that she couldn't speak. Her face turned pale, her lips turned purple, and her eyes were filled with fear and panic. She felt like she had been grabbed by someone and had nowhere to escape. She didn't know how to explain or face her mother's questioning. But discerning people can tell at a glance that something is wrong, otherwise the meme siblings wouldn't be like this. Their reaction was too excessive and too nervous. This is a typical case of heart deficiency. The expression on a child's face cannot be concealed when someone exposes their wrongdoing. Their eyes flickered, their bodies trembled slightly, and sweat dripped from their foreheads. Xiao Dang, tell me what exactly happened. Qin Huairu asked sternly. Her voice was as cold as ice, piercing the ears of the stick meme siblings. She is a kind mother who is usually good to her children and rarely gets angry. But today she couldn't bear the lies and deceit of the children. She wants to know the truth and make the children admit their mistakes. Xiaodang trembled all over, looked at his mother, then at the stick meme, and then at the old man and others. He felt trapped in an inescapable trap, surrounded by enemy gazes from all directions. He wants to deny and shift the blame, but he knows it's useless. He can only honestly tell the truth, even if it would make his mother sad. Grandpa, that chicken was not stolen by my brother from Uncle Damao's chicken cage. It was the chicken that ran out and was caught by him. It became a beggar chicken and was eaten by the three of us. Xiao Dang stuttered. His voice was very low and weak, like a defeated puppy pleading for forgiveness from its owner. This statement caused an uproar in the entire audience. At this point, everything comes to light. Su Damao, you've heard me clearly, who stole your chicken? Chapter 8. Revenge. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Did you wrongly accuse innocent people? He Yuzhu shouted sternly. He stood in the center of the yard, like an incarnation of justice, defending himself and bringing justice to himself. He pointed forcefully at Su Damao and Bang Gung, making them feel ashamed and afraid. Su Damao turned his head to look at him, unable to speak. His face turned pale, the corners of his mouth twitched, and his heart was flustered. He didn't know how to answer or face He Yuzhu's questioning. He felt like he had been exposed to a big lie and a big conspiracy. He wanted to defend and make excuses, but he knew it was useless. He could only lower his head and admit his mistake, even if it would embarrass him. The matter finally came to light. It turned out that it was Bang Ji who stole the chicken, not Silly Zhu who stole the chicken. It seems that we misunderstood him. I started stealing at such a young age. What should I do when I grow up? I need to teach him a good lesson, Su Damao's father snorted coldly. This meme has always been a mischievous child. I discovered a long time ago that he likes to steal things, and once even secretly came to my house to steal things, a neighbor exposed. She is a gossip woman who likes to inquire about other people's affairs and rarely speaks well. But today she couldn't bear the evil deeds of the stick meme. She thinks that Bang Ji is a thief, a fraud, and a calamity. He has also entered my kitchen, another neighbor agreed. She is also a gossiping woman, and she has a good relationship with the woman in front of her, but she has the same opinion on this matter. She thinks that Bang Ji is a thief, a rogue, and a scumbag. The crowd was in a frenzy of discussion. Qin Huairu, what else do you want? Your young master has admitted that chickens come out of cages, how can they be eaten as a flower chicken? How could a mother hen that can lay eggs be turned into a flower chicken by someone? Su Damao said angrily. He pointed at Qin Huairu, like an angry bull, venting his anger and defending himself. He vigorously shook the eggshell in his hand, showing everyone the evidence. Stick meme, really you did it. How could you do this? Qin Huairu said. Bang Ji raised his head and glanced at He Yuzhu, who was standing on the side without saying a word. His eyes were filled with fear and anger, as if He Yuzhu was his archenemy. He couldn't figure out why he was caught or exposed. He just wanted to steal a chicken, it's not a big crime. It must be He Yuzhu who said that he dared to stop himself from stealing soy sauce and even expose himself for stealing chicken. He decided to give He Yuzhu a boost and let him know his strength. It's him, it's Silly Zhu who instructed me to steal. Kanji pointed at He Yuzhu and shouted, his voice sharp and piercing, like a wounded beast roaring. He wanted to blame He Yuzhu for his wrongdoing, so that he could also taste the taste of being despised and despised by others. Bang-Ji pointed to He Yuzhu, saying that he was instructed to steal a chicken. This sentence was like a heavy bomb, causing a sensation in the yard. Everyone was stunned and couldn't believe their ears. This meme actually says that He Yuzhu asked him to steal a chicken. How could this be possible? How could He Yuzhu do such a thing? It's really a wave that hasn't calmed down, and waves are rising again. There was another uproar in the yard. Everyone's gaze fell on He Yuzhu. Some people showed signs of doubt and dissatisfaction, while others showed an attitude of sympathy and trust. He Yuzhu felt countless pairs of eyes staring at him, as if a knife was cutting his own skin. He knew that this meme was an ungrateful little white-eyed wolf who had always been unfriendly to him, but he didn't expect to claim that he had instructed him to steal it. I have never seen such a shameless person. Is this seeking revenge? Just because I won't let you steal soy sauce? Su Damao asked. Silly Pillar, the human stick meme says it was you who instructed it. Can you explain it? Silly Zhu, how could you do this? Grandma Zhang exclaimed in anger, would you be misleading people like this? I'll tell you, how could Bang-Ji and our family be so obedient? It turns out he was under your command. As she spoke, she pointed at He Yuzhu with an excited expression, and tears were about to fall. She truly loves her grandson and is also truly angry about what He Yuzhu has done. She thinks He Yuzhu is a villain, a calamity, and a scumbag. Huairu hurriedly said, Silly Pillar, this won't work. She also had a worried and anxious expression on her face. She hopes that He Yuzhu can bear the crime and make everyone understand that his cub is innocent. He Yuzhu chuckled and said, I asked him to do this. Hee, do you believe him that way? His smile was not at all flustered or afraid, but rather filled with indifference and ridicule. He disdains to argue with this meme and doesn't care about what others think of him. He just wants to expose the lies of this meme and let him reap the consequences. Qin Huairu, you are his relative, and you know better than anyone what kind of person your son is, he asked. He gestured with his eyes. Zhang shook her head and said, our stick meme wouldn't do that kind of thing. She said firmly without any hesitation or wavering. She has immense trust and pride in her grandson, believing him to be a good child with conscience, morality, and character. She wouldn't deny her grandson just because of a single word from an outsider. Hey, to be honest, Uncle, he asked you to do this, didn't he? Second Grandpa asked. He is one of the elders in the village. He rarely speaks, but whenever he speaks, he carries a lot of weight. He thinks this matter is very serious and cannot be easily let go. He wants to get the truth from the mouth of the stick meme. What are you saying? Can children lie? Silly Zhu has a good relationship with those 3 children, and it's impossible to deceive them. Jia Zhang quickly spoke up. You're right. The others nodded in agreement. I didn't lie, it was Silly Zhu who asked me to do this. Batuji exclaimed, looking at He Yuzhu with hatred. Chapter 9. Delivery to the Juvenile Detention Center. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Qin Huairu said, all right, don't be big or small. This is your uncle he. She said in a tone of reproach and protection, trying to stop the rudeness and offense of the stick meme. Bang-Ji exclaimed, what kind of uncle is this? He's clearly a fool. He said in an arrogant and provocative tone, wanting to challenge He Yuzhu's authority and status. He told He Yuzhu how much he despised and disagreed with him, and also told He Yuzhu how much he had hostility and hatred towards him. He let He Yuzhu know how fearless and disobedient he was. Qin Huairu angrily said, what are you saying? She said in a surprised and angry tone, wanting to question why Bang-Ji said such words. Silly Pillar, was it you who asked me to do it? Said Su Damao next to him. He Yuzhu said leisurely, what's there to say about this? You've been fooled by a little kid. Do you think I'll let him steal your chicken? I'm a cook, and my food tastes even better than yours. Why bother stealing chicken? He spoke in a calm and rational tone, wanting to defend and explain himself. He told Su Damao that he did not instruct the stick to steal the chicken, and also told Su Damao that he did not need to steal the chicken. He let Su Damao know how innocent and noble he was. How could he say he was under your command? Su Damao asked in a skeptical and distrustful tone, wanting to ask why He Yuzhu was implicated by the stick meme. He told He Yuzhu how much he valued and believed in the words of the stick meme, and also told He Yuzhu how much he questioned and dissatisfied with him. He let He Yuzhu know how stubborn and persistent he was. He Yuzhu snorted and said, "It's just revenge." In the afternoon, while I was busy working in the kitchen, that stick slipped into the kitchen and wanted to steal soy sauce, but I stopped him. Why did he steal soy sauce? It was just eating beggar's chicken. I didn't let him steal soy sauce, but he retaliated and said I ordered it, that's all. If you don't believe it, you can go ask Huairu and see if I did it. He spoke in a helpless and revealing tone, wanting to tell Su Damao the truth and the whole story of this matter. He told Su Damao about his grudges and entanglements with Bang Gung, and also told him that he had witnesses and evidence. He made Su Damao realize how innocent and aggrieved he was. Everyone's gaze fell on the locust blossom. Huairu had already been frightened and curled up. She said in a tone of fear and tears, wanting to admit her mistake and apologize to everyone. She told everyone that her brother was the culprit of stealing chickens, and also told everyone that her uncle he was an innocent victim. She made everyone aware of how regretful and sad she was. At this point, everyone believed He Yuzhu's words, and this matter had nothing to do with him. Huairu is so small, there are even fewer lies to tell. Okay, little bunny, have you learned to lie? Su Damao said in an angry and unconvinced tone. He wanted to deny Huairu's words and continue to hold He Yuzhu accountable. He Yuzhu shouted, "Now, you should know the true face of Bang Ji, right? You see, I treat him well, but is he good to me? He always calls me silly pillar like an adult, and then sneaks over to my house to steal my food. That's not the point is, he even falsely accuses me." He said in a righteous tone, wanting to expose Bang Ji's crimes and wrongdoing. He told everyone how unfilial and disloyal Bang Ji was to himself, and also told everyone how wicked and despicable Bang Ji was to himself. He made everyone aware of how angry and helpless he was. "If you don't take care of Bang Ji, you'll eventually go astray," someone said, with a hint of disdain in his voice. He wanted everyone to know his views and evaluations of Bang Ji. He told everyone that baseball was an ignorant and stubborn teenager, and also told everyone that baseball was an incurable villain. He made everyone aware of how much he despised memes. Yes, it's not good without my father's guidance, someone agreed, with a hint of sympathy and regret in his voice. He wanted to defend and excuse Qin Huairu. He told everyone that Qin Huairu was a lonely widow, and also told everyone that Qin Huairu was a hardworking and poor mother. He let everyone know how much he understood and sympathized with Qin Huairu. It's no wonder Qin Huairu is alone with 3 children and can't even eat enough. How can she have time to teach them? Someone said, with a sense of helplessness in his voice. He wanted to explain the reason and difficulty of this matter. He told everyone how difficult the life of Qin Huairu was, and also told everyone how lacking and powerless Qin Huairu's education was. He made everyone know how blameless and helpless he was to help Qin Huairu. He Yuzhu's words have gained the approval of many people. They looked at He Yuzhu with an approving and supportive gaze. They made He Yuzhu feel like he still had friends and supporters. "Silly pillar, what do you mean by this?" Qin Huairu said with a gloomy expression, speaking in an angry and dissatisfied tone. She wanted to question why He Yuzhu wanted to reveal his secret. She told He Yuzhu how embarrassed and afraid she was of this matter, and also told He Yuzhu how disappointed and resentful she was of him. She let He Yuzhu know how aggrieved and painful she was. "I'm just telling the truth," He Yuzhu said. "Since everyone has said so, let me tell the truth," he said in a resolute and righteous tone, wanting to defend and explain himself. He told Qin Huairu that he had only revealed the truth, and also told Qin Huairu that he had only followed the wishes of everyone. He let Qin Huairu know how innocent and just he was. "I didn't want to reveal the origin of this stick. Firstly, I didn't want to embarrass a young boy, and secondly, it was for the sake of Qin Huairu. After all, he has known her for so long and doesn't want to expose her. However, this meme is too extreme. I learned to seek revenge at such a young age. How can he bear this?" Su Damao angrily said, "Qin Huairu, since it has been confirmed that vain.Qin stole our chicken, what do you think should be done?" he said in an aggressive and unreasonable tone, wanting to make his demands and conditions to Qin Huairu. He told Qin Huairu how angry and dissatisfied he was with this matter, and also told him how distrustful and disrespectful he was towards her. He let Qin Huairu know how tough and domineering he was. Send him to the inspection bureau, to the juvenile delinquents' place. With his leadership, others also joined in. They said in a tone of indignation and disgust, wanting to give Batu a harsh and punitive lesson. They told Qin Huairu how much he disliked and despised the behavior of vain.Qin, and also told Qin Huairu how resolute and supportive he was of vain.Qin's punishment. They let Qin Huairu know how indignant and united they were. How to deal with this matter? Su Damao said, his voice was full of aggressive momentum. "He stole our old hen that can lay eggs. It's really a big loss to his mother," he said in an angry and unwilling tone, and he wanted to let everyone know his losses and grievances. He told everyone how precious and useful his own chicken is, and also told everyone who stole his own chicken. He made everyone aware of how pitiful he was. "This is easy to handle, just let Qin Huairu compensate," said the third master, with a hint of fairness and rationality in his voice. "Let her compensate your family, won't it?" he said in a tone of peaceful advice, wanting to give this matter a reasonable and simple solution. He told Su Damao that he should accept Qin Huairu's compensation, and also told Su Damao that he should not dwell on this matter anymore. He made Su Damao realize how fair and wise he was. The second master said, "Give him a chance to redeem himself." Confucius said that no one is infallible, let alone a child. Everyone sees Qin Huairu's character, and for her face, can we forgive her this time? He said in a tolerant and comforting tone, wanting to plead for Qin Huairu's mercy and excuse himself. He quoted famous quotes from Confucius and praised the character of Qin Huairu. He made Su Damao realize how kind and compassionate he was. Many people agree with this statement for the sake of Qin Huairu's face. They looked at Qin Huairu with a sympathetic and understanding gaze, as well as at second grandpa with a supportive gaze. They felt that Qin Huairu was a pitiful and forgivable person, and also believed that the second grandpa was a reasonable and kind-hearted person. They made Qin Huairu feel like she still had friends and helpers. Lu Xiaoyi said, "Damao, forget it, let them lose some money. They are all neighbors," she said in a tone of persuasion and mediation, wanting to ease the dispute and conflict. She told Su Damao not to be too petty and stingy, and also told him to take into account neighborhood relationships and face issues. "However, Qin Huairu, you have to discipline yourself. This kid is too unruly." Chapter 10. Getting 10 yuan. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Lu Xiaoa said to Qin Huairu again, in a tone of reproach and reminder, that she wanted to educate Qin Huairu and vain.Qin to correct their mistakes and behaviors. She told Qin Huairu to discipline her son well and also told him to abide by the rules and be polite. She let Qin Huairu know how much she cared and worried about them. "Yes, Xiaoa, I will discipline him well and never do this again," Qin Huairu quickly assured her, saying in a sincere and grateful tone, wanting to express her gratitude and commitment to Lu Xiaoa. She told Lu Xiaoa that she would strictly educate her son and also told her that her son would reform. She let Lu Xiaoa know how obedient and trusting she was. Su Damao said, "If you compensate me, at least you have to give me 5 yuan." He said in an unwilling and greedy tone, wanting to make a fortune from Qin Huairu. He told Qin Huairu the amount of compensation he requested, and also told him that if he didn't give it, there would be even more serious consequences. He let Qin Huairu know how greedy and shameless he was. 5 yuan. Zhang exclaimed in surprise, "Su Damao, you're stealing money. How much money can a chicken be sold in the market outside?" She spoke in a surprised and angry tone, wanting to expose Su Damao's irrationality and fraud. She told Su Damao how well she understood the market value of chickens and how dissatisfied she was with his demands. She made Su Damao realize how smart and just he was. Su Damao said, "That's an old hen. It lays eggs once a day. How many times can it lay eggs a year? Giving you 5 yuan is already a bargain. Is it compensation or reporting and sending the meme to the juvenile detention center?" He spoke in a strong and threatening tone, wanting to defend and threaten himself. He told Zhang how rare and valuable his chicken was, and also told him how determined and resourceful he was. He made Zhang realize how fearless and dominant he was. "Damao, is there something to say?" Qin Huairu pleaded, speaking in a weak and fearful tone. She wanted to beg for mercy and compromise. She told Su Damao that she didn't have that much money and didn't want to harm her son. She let Su Damao know how helpless and pitiful she was. "Okay, I'll give it to you later." Qin Huairu finally nodded and agreed. She spoke in a helpless and submissive tone, wanting to end this dispute and conflict. She agreed to Su Damao's conditions and apologized to him. "Don't backtrack," Su Damao said, with a hint of cunning in his eyes. "Su Damao, what are you talking nonsense about? In front of everyone, can she still deny it?" Su Damao nodded and said, "Okay, I believe her." He reluctantly said, with a hint of embarrassment and anger on his face, trying to conceal his disappointment and anger. Seeing this scene, He Yuzhu felt incredibly happy in his heart. He said in a proud tone, "Su Damao, take a look at yourself, also, don't forget to give me 10 yuan. He wants to make Su Damao feel humiliated and resentful. He felt that Su Damao was a shameful and despicable person who dared to bully himself and even wanted to frame himself. He wanted Su Damao to pay the price and let him know his strength. Just now, Su Damao wrongly accused himself of stealing chicken, but he directly bet 10 yuan. He Yuzhu just wants money. Su Damao saw everyone looking at him and immediately took out 10 yuan from his pocket with helplessness. Although he will not be sent to a juvenile detention center, there is still punishment. If he is like a foolish pillar, taking the blame for others, he will have to compensate 5 yuan. 5 yuan, although not much in the 20th century, was a considerable amount in the 1960s, an era of good quality and affordable prices. When converted into Chinese yuan, it could reach several hundred yuan. For a cafeteria chef who only earns 37.5 yuan a month, this is simply astronomical. He Yuzhu doesn't want to lose so much money for nothing, let alone be seen as a fool and a scapegoat. When the truth is exposed and the verdict is pronounced, the meeting ends. A group of people left the courtyard one by one and returned to their residence. Some people looked at He Yuzhu with sympathy and admiration, while others looked at He Yuzhu with ridicule and contempt. Anyway, He Yuzhu doesn't care, he only cares about his own innocence and dignity. As the night deepened, a thin layer of white snow lay on the ground, like a white blanket. Snowflakes dance in the air, landing on roofs and branches, adding a touch of coldness and beauty to this winter day. He Rainwater walked slowly into the yard wearing a blue cotton jacket and a deep red woolen scarf tied around his neck. "Brother!" Annalot shouted. A crisp sound startled He Yuzhu. He lifted the car curtain and looked at He Yu, who was riding a bicycle, asking, "What's wrong?" She turned around, blinked her big eyes, and said with a smile, "As soon as I entered the door, I heard someone say that Su Damao's chicken was stolen and he gave you 10 yuan. What's the situation?" "Qin Huairu's eldest son, Bongang, stole the chicken from Su Damao's family. I was about to buy you a chicken, but I was falsely accused by Su Damao of stealing their chicken. He broke into my house and even had a meeting with me, making a bet with me." In just a few words, He Yuzhu recounted the whole story, and his eyes widened as he listened. Bangzi stole the chicken. Don't joke, and Su Damao, that stingy guy, always talks for 10 yuan. Brother, 10 yuan. That's right, people separate their bellies. He Yuzhu looked at He Rainwater with a bewildered expression and spread his hand, saying, "Su Damao gave me 10 yuan, which is already considered light. If it weren't for the presence of 3 gentlemen, would have called the police and arrested him," he said in an angry and disdainful tone. By the way, He Yuzhu touched the tip of his sister's nose. "What's going on?" he said in a puzzled and concerned tone, wanting to know why He Rainwater came back at this time. He knows that Rainwater should rest and prepare at school. He didn't understand why He Rainwater came home early, with a look of disappointment on his face. Well, He Rainwater lowered his head and whispered, "I didn't do well in the math exam today. I messed up." She spoke in a tone of shame and sadness, wanting to confess her failures and regrets to He Yuzhu. She told He Yuzhu that she encountered many difficult problems in the math exam today and didn't solve them. There were also some questions that she didn't have time to finish. She let He Yuzhu know how disappointed and self-blaming she was. He Yuzhu clapped his hands and said, "For those who celebrate the Chinese New Year, let's eat before we talk. Then you'll have to find your inspection partner to take a photo together later," he said in a joking and teasing tone, trying to amuse He Yuzhu and make her forget about today's unpleasant experience. He Rainwater shyly patted He Yuzhu's back and coquettishly said, "Brother," she said in a shy and angry tone, wanting to express her affection and dissatisfaction with He Yuzhu. "I'll make you something delicious.